Hello, welcome back to Becoming Catholic. My name is Nate, an ex Protestant youth pastor who has been convinced of the claims of the Catholic Church. Today, I'm going to give you a life update. It's probably a video you've been waiting for, just simply because you haven't heard from me or seen me at all in about a year. And the last couple of videos you watched were a year late. And on top of that, I'm not in my house, as you can see. I'm not in my office. I don't have a set. So I'm going to give you a life update. So here we go. Okay, so there are a couple of different things I need to update you on. First thing I need to do is apologize about a couple of things, because the first things first, I've been really inconsistent even before some of these life updates that I'm about to give you. And that was purely out of laziness. And also, I get easily distracted. And because I'm a bit more of a feeler than I am a thinker, I have a tendency to get off track in my own spiritual life, which then makes me inconsistent in things like this YouTube channel. Um, I also promised you guys a video a long time ago, almost maybe 2 years ago now, about consecration to Mary. I wanted to do the 9-day consecration with Thomas Aquinas. And then I had planned other Marian consecrations afterwards. Those videos are coming. I have some plans. I'm inconsistent and I'm sorry. And so I will be doing those videos. But I want to get to why I haven't been posting in a while. And that's because last year, May 31st, 2023, my wife and I suffered a house fire. I've actually recorded this video a couple of different times throughout the last year and a half and felt like I said too much and it was just really long and unnecessary. So we had a house fire. Most people will be curious how it started. We're not sure. We live on a street where there are a lot of what's known as a cottonwood tree or poplar trees. They basically have a pollen that's not unlike the seeds from a dandelion. So a lot of white fuzzy stuff. In the spring, it coats the ground. And it's very, very, very flammable. So we were on vacation. We were visiting my wife's half brother and his family, as well as doing a bunch of other things like celebrating my sister-in-law's bachelorette party and all sorts of stuff. So we were traveling for a variety of reasons. We were on a really nice vacation. My wife and I, towards the end of the trip and on our way home, were talking about how incredibly refreshed we felt and just how what a blessing it was and how united we felt as a couple and as a family. And just there were so many wonderful things about this trip. We got home on a Tuesday night at 11 p.m. and I went back to work the next morning. And that morning, Wednesday at 10 a.m., May 31st, I got a phone call from my wife saying, "You have to come home. Our house is on fire." So I raced home. And sure enough, there were fire trucks everywhere, police cars everywhere. My wife was in our neighbor's house, sobbing, and our house was there. It was standing, but we had a house fire bad enough that we couldn't live there. So the reason I haven't been making videos is because I've gone through the hellish experience for the last year and a half of dealing with everything that comes with a house fire. At this moment in time, we still do not live in our house. It's hopefully close to being done. At this point, the contractors are telling us it'll be done before Thanksgiving. I'm not holding my breath, but I hope so. The rental we lived in was terrible. I mean, it was big, it was nice, but the landlord was not great. And there were a lot of things we didn't like about the place, and it was expensive. The insurance company paid for it, but it was still expensive. And so now we're in an Airbnb that the contractor is paying for on Saratoga Lake. So that's the lake behind me. The contractor is paying for this because they didn't get the house done in time and the house in the condition it's in is still not livable. So they're paying for 1 month of this Airbnb. So that's why I haven't been posting. That has been my life for the last year and a half, my poor wife's life for the last year and a half, my poor baby's life, our two dogs. That's been our family for the last year and a half, is dealing with this. As a matter of fact, at the time of recording this, um, as of just a few days ago, we had lived in 5 different places over the course of 10 days. We had lived in our rental, we had lived in our house, which was unfinished, we lived in a hotel, we lived in my mother-in-law's apartment, and this Airbnb. So when I've been telling you for the last couple of videos, pray for me, I need your prayers, this is why. It has been a really difficult time for my wife and I. So thank you for your prayers. We again, we need them. If you wish to support us, we do have a GoFundMe. I don't like asking for money. This is the reason I didn't want to make this video, and the reason I've made it several times and then just decided not to post it. It's because I don't like asking for things, and it feels lame to ask for people I don't know for money over the internet. And so I'm not asking you for money. As a matter of fact, I would prefer if you prayed for me and didn't donate money. The only reason I'm putting the GoFundMe in the bio and telling you about it is because I know that so many of you are generous enough that that is how you like to love people and how you like to support people. And it's actually humbling for me to kind of force myself to be willing to receive your generosity and your love in that way, because it's not natural to me. I don't like doing that. So if you are the kind of person who feels so inclined to donate to those sorts of things and to people like me who are going through what I've gone through, you can support us. If you're curious as to why we need the money, I have worked a total of 6 hours at my job in the last 4 weeks. So I'm not at risk of losing my job. I have an incredible boss and I work for a wonderful company, but um, I haven't had the time. I don't have any sick time or vacation time, really. I have a little bit of sick time, but I don't really have any vacation time or PTO or anything like that. I just have a little bit of sick time that I can use. And it's not enough to support a family of 3 with 2 dogs over the course of a month plus, because I've had to take so much time off of work to deal with phone calls and meetings, and I've only taken a total of 2 days off to just relax and de-stress over the course of these now 4 weeks. So thank you for that. Yeah, that's what we've been through. So I am in the middle of editing this video, and I realized I forgot to mention something. If you're curious to learn more about the story of the house fire, if you want to hear about how, more details of how the fire happened, obviously we don't know how it happened, but the specifics, and if you want to hear just about the whole story of the last year and a half, let me know in the comments. I would be willing to make a video about that. I just didn't think it was necessary to comb over all those details in this video. But before you tell me in the comments that you definitely want to hear me talk about my life for the last year and a half, just about the house fire and all the problems we've had related to that, you can click the info card and you can watch a video that my wife had posted on her YouTube channel. She had done this video about basically what it's like to live in a hotel with an infant. And it's a pretty cool video, and it's very lighthearted given what we went through. So yeah, watch that video. If that does not answer your questions, I'm more than comfortable with going over all of the details of our life for the last year and a half. So watch that video. It'll be in the info card. It'll be in the description. And if that does not quench your thirst to have all your questions answered, let me know in the comments that you want to see a video just about the house fire and about our lives. All right, that's it. Back to the video. Sorry, had to find a different place to put my camera. My arm was getting tired. So the other update that I have for you guys is something that you've probably taken notice of in the last few videos, including this video. the introduction to my last several videos, I have said that I am an ex-Protestant youth pastor. And that's because I quit my job at the Protestant church I was working for. Um, and there's a lot to it, and it actually doesn't really have much to do with my pursuit of the truths of the Catholic Church. It actually has more to do with the fire, which makes quitting my job at a church a lot harder, both on me and my family. So the short version is that the church didn't do anything for my family and I when we had the fire. There were people in the congregation who did what they could, but the leadership of the church and the organization, the church at large, didn't really do anything for us. As a matter of fact, most people in the church didn't know, even though all of the staff knew. And when I say didn't do anything for us, I mean so little that no one on staff in leadership even gave condolences to my wife or offered to pray for her or told her they were praying for her. So very little. And I don't mean to kind of crap on that church because there's a lot of beautiful people who sincerely love the Lord. And even within the leadership, you know, we had some problems with the leadership at that church, but uh, I believe most people just want to like love God the best they can in places like that. And so even if they make decisions that hurt me or they make unwise decisions, I just want to assume the best. If my wife watches this video, I'm sure she doesn't necessarily agree with what I just said about all those generous words, charitable words I said to those people, but um, I we are still hurt and salty and frustrated, and wounds are still need to be healed in both of our hearts. And I know my wife is really hurting from it. I know that I am. You know, anytime I have silence in the car, if I'm not praying and I'm not listening to a podcast, my thoughts are directed towards that church and the children in my youth ministry, and how frustrated I am with how I was treated and how my family was treated. And yeah, and how frustrated I am about how I assume that those people are thinking about me when they think about me. So I quit the church. There are obviously a plethora of reasons that come into quitting a church. It's not simply just they did nothing for my family during the fire. There's plenty more that comes into it, but that's the big thing. That's the reason. That's the real reason. There's a lot of other things. Now, I will say that I was relieved at least a little bit in my heart because I want to pursue the Catholic Church, and I felt like I couldn't because it meant that my livelihood and taking care of my family, that was all at risk. And I can confidently say that's not the case anymore. I can be loud, I can be bold, I can tell everybody about Catholicism, and I can go on this journey and not be worried that I'm going to lose my job. So what I do for a living now is I work for a remodeling company, and I do construction, and I help a little bit with their website and social media and stuff. But I'm like the least handy guy I know. And I'm still like, I'm sure my boss would be kinder to me than I would be, but I don't think I'm that great at it. But I'm trying my best, and I think I'm a pretty quick learner. I think it's just it feels similar to sports where it's like it doesn't necessarily come naturally to me. And so I even if you were to like watch me do something, I don't look quite as confident in that place as some others do. But I really enjoy it. It's actually been a huge blessing to my soul to do something with my hands and build something, be able to walk away from a day of work and look at what I've accomplished and say, I did that. And that feels really good. It's also been really healing to my soul, and it's helped me grow in just, I'm not a leader of anything. Just people tell me what to do and I do it. And that's what I get paid for. And I don't have to take work home with me if I don't want to. And that's all been really helpful. And that allows me to freely look into the Catholic Church more. You'll also notice that in all my last few videos, I've said that I'm completely and totally convinced of the intellect and of the heart of the Catholic Church. So that means that I am not going to be a hypocrite anymore. I'm going to pursue becoming Catholic. I am pursuing becoming Catholic. I am working with my deacon and priest to make sure that that happens. And I will document that part of my journey as we get there chronologically. But I do have 2 more videos coming after this one. The next video is going to be about my home altar, because a lot of you didn't like my home altar, and I don't blame you, because I didn't really know what I was doing when I made it the first time. So there's going to be a part 2 of the home altar video that's coming chronologically, that fits into where we're at in my story. And after that, I'm going to tell you about a Ukrainian Catholic church that I attended, and just tell you about that experience. Similar to the Maronite church and the traditional Latin Mass, it'll be a video kind of like that. And after that video, I will have some more updates for you. Thank you for your prayers. I really need them, really appreciate them. Continue to pray for me and my family. And I'm so blessed by you guys. The fact that I every once in a while will log on to YouTube and just see how many subscribers I have and see that it's growing, even though I've posted nothing in a year, is really encouraging. And I'm kind of overwhelmed by the grace and love of the Lord Jesus through you guys. I haven't liked any of your comments, I haven't responded to any of your comments, but I have read them, and I am so blessed by so many of you. It truly, like, I cannot articulate how humbling it is to have the love and the support from all of you, just in your kind words, but also the fact that you are subscribing and liking and watching the videos. I said in a previous video that I thought I was done with ministry, and to an extent, I wish I would be. I don't really want to work for a church or anything, but um, it's nice to see that people like my personality enough, I guess, and like the way that I articulate my thoughts and the way I communicate theology and philosophy and the way I tell stories enough to keep watching. And it feels like God is giving me a space and encouraging me in a space uh, to keep teaching people about Him and telling people about the truth of the gospel. Um, it's also been really cool that my wife has been encouraging me to make these videos, and she's kind of been on my case for the last year and a half. Even with all the crap we've gone through, she's still been like, "Hey, you really need to be working on your becoming Catholic videos. You need to be working on your YouTube channel." So, thank you, honey. I love you. Thank you all for praying. Thank you all for praying and subscribing and liking. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. There are more videos coming. Yeah. Love you guys. God bless.